are you there?
Yes.
At 1:29 p.m.
Rudy Castellano,
Present.
Mike Sweeney is excused. Mike Cousins,
Present.
Ria Gaveri,
Present.
Mike Martinez,
Present.
Travis Hearn.
Present.
There is a quorum.
Good to have you all at the meeting today. Does everybody have their paperwork?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
We have a motion for approval of the agenda.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that motion.
Ria, you need to add in the presentation.
Mr. Chairman, I need to add in one item to the business items. I will be giving just a summary of the presentation that I'll be giving to the council on the second city council meeting. So I'd like to add an item to the business items to inform the committee of what will be discussed.
All righty.
Okay, I amend my motion to accommodate that.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we had a motion by Rudy, correct, and a second by Mike, as amended.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Maria, what was the presentation about again?
I'll be giving a presentation on our water storage conditions and situation.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Mr. Chairman, oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting.
And I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Mike Martinez, a second by Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Sonny, is there any public input today?
No, sir, I did not receive anything.
Okay, then we'll move on to business items. Maria?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So business item 1 is the approval of the addendum for contract with JJ and Son Excavations. Last year, we had gone out to bid and the council had approved a contract with JJ and Son to perform concrete work for the city, various concrete work. That contract was approved a year ago, and after a year, every year following, we do addendums for the contracts. And so we're requesting approval of the first addendum. The work that's been provided by the contractor has been very good. They're doing a lot of work for us. It's helping keep up with concrete repairs, whether it's sidewalks or curb and gutter. And being able to have this contractor who can focus on that, we've been able to catch up on a lot of much needed concrete work around the city. So a request to approve, I request the committee recommend that the council approve addendum 1 to that contract.
Mr. Chairman, Maria, did you have any other bids?
So the bids were last year. That has nothing
Yeah.
to do with requesting an addendum. Yes, we did have other bids, but we can't go back and look at those. This is solely on extending the contract or allowing the contract to go into year 2.
Was it bid out that way?
So all contracts are by city ordinance are only
Yes.
good, they can be good for up to 4 years, but every year you have to approve an addendum to that contract for 1 year at a time. So
Without rebidding.
yeah, it's not a rebid. It's just, is the contractor doing what we need them to do, and we'd like to extend their contract for the second year or third year or fourth year. We can't go any past the fourth year, and that is a requirement per city ordinances for all of our contracts.
And I don't disagree with that, but do you do the same with all the others then?
Yes, every contract has to have an addendum. If it does not have an addendum, it can't be used.
Okay.
That's
So
per,
when they initially are approved after the bid, the addendum is automatic?
so when they originally bid, it's listed as up to 4-year contract.
Okay.
And in there, it does say that they have to be renewed every year. Yes.
And that's by the council, right?
Council is the one who approves the contract in the very beginning. And then,
Yes.
yes, the addendums have been going to council recently for each follow-on year.
All right. Thank you.
Or yes, yes. Any other questions?
Yes. That, JJ and Sons, his work is phenomenal. You can't get better than that. They take their time, they do it right, and I fully agree to give them the contract.
Is that a motion, Mike?
That's a motion.
We have a motion from Mike Martinez to recommend the approval of the addendum.
Mr. Chairman, is that for 1 year?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
All right. I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mike Martinez, a second by Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move to the,
It's business item number 2, which is the add-on.
Yes.
yes, for the water storage.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I was tasked with this, I think 24 hours ago or so, maybe 48. And so I do not have the presentation ready yet, but I will be giving a presentation. So this is not a request for approval. This is just a business item to inform the council to inform this committee that I will be giving a presentation to the council, and we can make that presentation available to this committee at the next meeting. This presentation will include our storage, our snowpack per current conservation stages, where we expect to go for this year. And I will give a comparison on our storage and snowpack as to where we've been over the last few years.
Sounds good to me.
I would be interested if anybody has any suggestions on what else I could add to that presentation. And again, the presentation is to focus on our water storage and our water situation for the community currently.
Mr. Chairman, how about the water storage in the Taylor Wells?
So what do you mean by that?
Is there a way to measure the capacity each have there left in there, or?
No, there is not.
Okay.
Yeah, we
right.
can't measure capacity. There is water available in the well field, but we would have to start pumping to determine how much of it, how quick we can pump it, how much we can pump, and we wouldn't know till we started doing that. The well field is a finicky area. It's not something we can visually determine how much water is in there, and because it's our emergency water source, we're cautious as to when we pump it. Because when we pump it, then it has to be restored, and it takes time for that water to be restored.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman?
Looks like Councilman Montoya raised his hand.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Maria, can you include the influent water status on there too, as far as the permit and when you will be opening it up to the public this year again?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Maria, could you kind of repeat that on what Councilman
Absolutely.
said? I couldn't really-
So Councilor Montoya would like me to add in the current status of our effluent water as well. The when we'll be making it available to the public. So I'll provide that information as well.
All right, that's a good point, Mr. Councilman.
Maria,
Yes, sir.
this is Rudy. Well, in terms of resources that you're going to use to project, I know it's hard to predict weather and it's hard to predict droughts, but you will be looking at those types of issues with somebody that might have some kind of protections, right?
Yes, every year, and there are monthly reports that are made to me by our hydrologist that do look at the proposed and the expected weather conditions for the rest of the year, and also a comparison to previous years. So I'm not sure if I probably won't put all of that because it's pretty detailed information into the presentation, but we do look at comparable weather conditions.
Yeah.
I believe Councilor
Cal-
Montoya has raised his hand again.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I really couldn't grasp any of that. There was too much static in the.
Councilor Montoya has raised his hand. He would like to add something.
Okay, go ahead, Councilman.
Okay. Maria, also, maybe we could get an update report on the lawsuit between the city and the acequias, where we're at with that, and where we're going to utilize that storage and those water rights.
I will check with the city attorney on that and make sure that we can give you a proper update on that.
Thank you, because I think the option for the acequias to protest or what do you call that, oppose it, or the deadline already is beyond the 30 days or so, no?
Okay.
So,
yeah, and like I said, I'll talk to the city attorney because he may be the better one to give an update on that court case.
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, any more questions on that situation or any suggestions to Maria? All right, let's move to discussion items. Anything with a monthly report, Maria?
And my staff did provide me the summaries, and I had not had a chance to go through it. For the most part, we're on track as regular every month, with each division completing their monthly tasks. Projects related to water, I'll give a project status here in a minute. So I really don't have a monthly report update. There was nothing substantial in the monthly reports. Regular work was performed as normal.
Okay.
Maria,
Yes.
are we projected any more? Did they call me? Are they called amnesty days or what for the refuse for picking up trash?
Right. So we are working with solid waste on the next amnesty day. We try and coordinate it with good weather and a normal cleanup time frame. So
It is in the works.
It's yes, always in the works. Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, if that's all with that, let's move to B, project status.
Okay, so the big projects are North Gonzales, There's been a delay in a lot of utilities projects due to supply chain issues. There have been delays upwards of 6 to 8 months on many of our normal materials, which are delaying the projects. And that's what happened on North Gonzales. But the materials have been received, and they're currently in the process of finishing that water line. It was a water line replacement. In addition to that, we're installing a French drain system to address the groundwater that is surfacing on North Gonzales, and we're working on directing that into the storm drains. So we should improve that issue there, or that challenge there. So that's one utilities project. Another utilities project that's getting ready to start is the Hot Springs project, and that will be both wastewater, sewer line replacement, and a water line replacement, along with a replacement of a PRV. And that will be happening along Hot Springs from Mills, and there will be a bore across Mills. So it actually starts on the north side of Mills and goes down, I think down to Taos, maybe a little bit past Taos. I know it goes down to, we're doing some work on the PRV down there. I don't know if you were trying to talk, Mike. I don't know if that's you, Mike. One of the phone calls that ends in a 92 there was some noise. I don't know if you were trying to say something.
No, we had a lady just dragging a dumpster down the side of the house here, and that's what all the noise was.
Okay.
So,
other utilities projects. So they've completed all the utilities work for the National Bridge Street project. So now they're just down to the streets work. We have some plans to replace some water lines on Parkview and Baca. Two separate projects. One is to replace some water lines on Baca. One is to replace some water lines on Parkview. And I don't know if Travis can give us an update. We were working on getting cost estimates. So I don't know if Travis, if you have any current information on that, those two projects.
We're just waiting on the estimates. Project management was working on that.
Okay. So those are two water line projects that we have up and coming. We did not receive any funding from the legislature, but we are expecting a lot of funding from the federal infrastructure program. So we have full intent on reaching out for that funds for miles and miles of sewer lines and water lines that need to be replaced. The lift stations are almost done. I think they're all, one of them is already done, and I think the other two are at about 90%. And unless somebody can remind me of some other ones, I think those were our major current utilities projects. We did do a water line relocation on Salazar, and that was to finish some road work up there. So we had to relocate the water line.
okay. Any questions on any of that?
Can I ask a question about street projects?
You can, and I will try and answer.
Okay, I just want to make a comment on the road behind the Eagles. They did throw in some gravel into the holes, but it was kind of shoddy. I know it's a temporary fix, but are they planning on doing anything else when the weather improves?
So I will pass that on to the director for streets, which is now Arnold. So I will pass that on to Arnold.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. It was, I passed through there more than not, and it's kind of, the shocks in the car can only last so long with those kind of poles. Thank you.
So Arnold's taken over as the director of Public Works, and so my staff, project management, right now will still be involved with major engineered projects, but for all intents and purposes, the direction and the scheduling is coming out of Arnold's office.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no more questions or comments on project status, we'll move to announcements.
I do not currently have any announcements, not at this time.
Oh. Anybody else? All right, we'll move to member comments.
Mr. Chairman and Maria,
Go ahead, Rudy.
it's going to take a while for people to get used to the plaza situation. It seems to be working to a degree, but the acceptance still isn't there. I'm hoping that with time people will accept it. The sidewalks, the raised sidewalks, are sort of a good idea, but people still can't get the grasp of what's going on. So any kind of PR on that would be great for the public.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike Martinez, any comment?
Sure. That Arnold Lopez that you hired, that's another top-notch person. And the as far as the little crossings there on the plaza, I agree with Rudy. I just is there a specific time to be done with them, or?
Did you just ask if they're almost done?
If there's any kind of a projected date on when they'll be done?
So we expect to, and I haven't gone out there today, but we were expecting that we would be able to do the brake tests today on the one on the south side and then open that one up. And the north side will have to be redone. We rejected both of them because they did not meet our standards. And we were not going to accept work that was not to the highest of quality, especially since these are going to be driven over by vehicles. So both of them ended up getting rejected. The city will not pay for what was previously done, and they're being replaced at no cost to the city, other than it is an inconvenience, but we want to do it right. We didn't want to just accept it for convenience sake. We want to accept them if they're high quality. So the north side will be redone. We're holding off this week on not pouring any this week due to temperatures.
Yes.
So that was the holdup I was contemplating that. I know the answer now. Well, thanks for not approving it.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing was it wasn't just that the concrete was actually cracking already and separating, but that they were not they didn't have the right angles and elevations and height. The purpose of those raised crosswalks is one, it is a crosswalk and it's a safety issue, so we want to make sure people have a secure and safe place to cross. But we were using that also as a speed control device by slowing vehicles down. Now that they have to go over a raised crosswalk, it kind of slows vehicles down a little bit. It was not meant to be as high as a speed hump. Those are pretty, you almost have to come to a complete stop in front of those. The intent was to blend it in with the existing, the expected work and make it work within the aesthetics and the plaza area. So they're more speed, they're not speed bumps, they're raised crosswalks. So that's closer to a speed hump than a speed bump.
Can I make, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Rudy.
Are we still on comments? Under comments, Maria, I don't know who's in charge of the plaza upkeep, but the park, I have never seen it in such terrible shape. The pigeons are doing doo-doo all over the darn place, and I don't think it's a health hazard just to walk through there. Can somebody look into that and see if it could be shored up or cleaned up a little bit?
So yeah, that is a parks area. I'll pass that on to Stephen. Do you by any chance have access to our 311 app?
No.
Okay. I'll send you some information on our 311 app. It allows the community members to communicate directly with the departments for, we're trying to do rapid turnaround on some of these things and, or at least inform the various directors of any issues. And it's an app that allows you to send an issue, a work order, and it'll go
Great.
straight to that director.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
on that, part of that hazard, well, what Rudy was mentioning a while ago, what can be done about those pigeons or whatever birds are out there?
I am not able to answer that. Yes, I'm not able to answer what can be done to the pigeons. But I will let Parks know that it is a concern of the community.
And it was a hazard for anybody really, but for little kids, they fall in that pigeon stuff and, you know, they can create a big problem with the city.
And I know it doesn't look good either, and it is a concern. I'll make sure to pass it on.
Thank you
you,
very
Maria.
much.
Maria, I had a question. Who is the contractor that poured those cement walks?
The cement crosswalks,
Yeah.
I would have to get back to you. It's a subcontractor for Hayes Construction, so I don't know the name of the subcontractor off the top of my head.
Okay. But fine, maybe you can find that out and let me know next time or something. All right, that's all I had. Anybody, any other comments or questions?
No.
Councilman, are you all right with all that?
I'm on here. I'm almost getting to my destination, but I just want to thank everybody for their hard work. And Maria is right. That 311 app, I use that all the time. And that's a direct line to the contractor, to the directors for each department. So if there have you want to report any potholes or anything you see that needs to be fixed, you just get on there. It's real easy. You can even send pictures and communicate back and forth. And then the directors look at that every 24 hours and respond to that. So it's a really nice access for everybody to use for any issues with the city, to report anything that you think that's right. But I thank you guys all for what you do, and we'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, if that's all, the next regular meeting is scheduled for April 12, 2022 at 1:30 p.m. Let's adjourn this meeting at 1:57 p.m.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you to the committee members. Thank you to Councilor Montoya.
Thank you.